6,000.
Wow.
Never had one, and it's still growing.
I had somebody commented on one of my videos from 5 or 6 years
Hey,
ago,
everybody.
We're still conversating.
and it was when I looked at the video, I can't even remember what it was. I had to watch it, and when I looked at the video, it had 6,000 views. It would have been nice.
I'm usually tickled pink at that, and then this one's still growing.
It would have been nice if that would have happened, when that was new.
Deepers. Hey, there's James. Howdy, James.
I get this to. Why am I not?
Jan and I's kind of slumming it. We've been out cutting wood all day. Hey, Bowen.
Hey, Bowen. Hey, James. Well, I showed here my Renaissance grandma, Vanessa, and Jovita's in, but I haven't. Oh, there's
Jovita,
Jovita.
and there's Evelyn.
Miss Evelyn, hi.
Now everything's starting to kind of pop up in here. Chat and everything's kind of looks a little wonky.
Yeah, I'm trying to get. Won't even. There we go.
Hey, Evelyn, did they get your fire put out? She said they had a wildfire like 6 miles
Hi,
from here.
Jan.
Hi, Jan.
Never heard any more. Well, I tell you what, that Bowen guy. I should issue an apology for owning a YouTube channel because I have been like the world's worst slacker the last couple weeks. And I haven't been that busy. It's just I haven't took time to video stuff lately.
Well, that's kind of where we are. Fuzzy Ventures and More. I'm new
Howdy.
to this chat, so what everyone doing today? How's
Welcome in.
glad you're here.
Doing good.
So,
Best guy.
The best guy 456 is somebody who's in my youth group at church.
Oh, well,
okay.
welcome in.
Samuel.
But
We always welcome in friends of Paul's.
He's our resident newbie. He's like one of the youngest ones in my class. He'll be going to camp with me this week.
Evelyn says over 800 acres and 0% containment.
Wow.
Goodness.
Well, I hope y'all receive
We
some
had that
rain.
fire. It was just 100 acres, and that was big enough.
I hope y'all receive some rain soon.
Hey, Lori.
Tame that down.
Hi,
Yeah,
Lori.
we're finally getting a little dry.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's going to stay dry now.
It'd be all right for a while.
For a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, well, we need
There's
some
Peter,
dry
Old
and-
Man King Homestead.
Hey, Peter, how you doing?
There's Dan. Hello, Dan.
Hey, Dan. Rebecca's in there.
Hi, Rebecca. Paul, I feel neglected. You haven't even said hi to me.
Hi, Rebecca. Yarnzar. How are you? Pete.
Yeah, we had plans. We was going to cook on the griddle and stuff again, and he says, I ain't doing it.
No. Yeah, we're.
Bowen says he's special, like special Ed. I have a very good friend named Ed, and they call him Special Ed. And
Hey, Angie.
he's not, but he does run when nothing's chasing him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was telling earlier, and I was showing Paul. We've been out cutting some logs.
Well, I posted a short.
And that's the white oak tree we cut down. And then there's a walnut. We just dropped the walnut. We've got most of the white oak limbed up. We still got some more work to do on it tomorrow. So, yeah, we got done, came in, sat down for a few minutes, and then start setting up for the live because it's hot.
Yeah, see them leaves moving behind him? That's natural. See the fan moving up here above me? That's man-made.
There's another one for size comparison. He's standing up on there.
Crazy big.
Yeah. I know it looked big standing up, but then when we got it down, it's like, holy moly, what are we gonna do with this?
Well, there's sometimes that we'll go measure around one and divide it by 3, and if it comes up over 3 foot, we don't even mess with it. We only use 2-foot bar on our saws and stuff.
There goes asking him how big his sawmill cut.
Scott can't cut anything over 36 inches anyway. But I sold one of those bottom logs out of one of those trees that blowed over, and a 10-foot or an 8-foot piece of it paid $472.
Oh wow.
So, and they're pretty okay. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you got a lot of other crap to deal with, and
Hey, Scotty, welcome in.
everybody talks about how dangerous it is cutting one down. Get your saw stuck and then the thing falls over on your saw. I've had worse trouble cutting them big ones off the stump, like when they blow over or whatever, because they're so big. By the time you get down to where you're cutting them in two, the saw's partially under them. And they'll actually set over on your saw and jam the handle down in the ground. And
Oh,
yeah, we have issues.
Jan's got a prayer request here. Dan's wife passed away from a handicapped traveler. Please keep him in your prayers. Definitely will.
Yep.
Didn't know that.
Definitely
Thank you,
keep it separate.
Jan.
But yeah, I was going to ask how big of a log you can fit on your sawmill, because
Well, it says you can saw a 36-inch log, but the thing only has 28 and a half inches of blade showing.
so
So
know
what
that
you got to turn it backwards for a little bit
mm-hmm.
get it to where you can cut that off, and the bigger piece sticks out the side. And the other thing is the backstops on it are inside of that 28 inches. And so the widest board you can actually cut with is just under 24 inches. And when you got one of them great big ones on it, you got to let them backstops down as much as you can and scoot it over to get the crown of the log in the middle of your cut.
Mm-hmm.
I missed Bowen's comment here. How does one get their own flag? It's a banner.
Yeah, we just ordered it off of Amazon. It was just a custom deal. We did it ordered here a while back for craft shows and different things. So we was able to just put our logo on it, and they shipped it to us, and it wasn't that bad. Jennifer's talking about part stock. Well, we're not even into part stock yet. Right now we're talking woods. So wait till we get into tractors, because I got
You need
on that too.
Eric, you might need to turn your deal instead of mirror to be the other way or whatever, so that the writing on your banner looks right.
Yeah.
It matches the cup I got.
Oh, it does.
I use that every day. That's my favorite cup.
It matches Anita's cup. Now I've done it. I say you ought to do something about it, and then.
Well.
Okay, Fuzzy, we'll keep you and your family members in prayer. Family things can be hard.
I broke it.
Way to go, Slick.
Let's see if I can break mine too.
Oh, for some reason it's doing the iPhone.
Oh no! Boom! You're back, and it looks right.
Yay!
You guys just traded places while you was off screen.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Turn that banner around.
But
there's Treasure Hunter Neil.
Hey, Neil, welcome in. Welcome in.
Who else have I missed? Sorry, guys.
But because that bottom part of the log there, they're not going to want, because it's too short. But I figure it's like, if I can get it cut up, I can go ahead and put it in the shop and get it start drying. And then later, if we do wind up getting the place sold and moved, we'll have it and we can use it to make the table with and stuff.
Yeah, use it in your new house or whatever you might do, or whatever. That might be Tina's new workbench.
Yeah. Well, I figure being white oak, we can make, a couple outdoor tables with it or something, because I'd be able to get quite a few slabs out of that. And then if you wanted some, you'd be more than welcome to, because it ain't going to fit on my mill. I can do a 20-inch log, and that's it.
I need to get with you guys about making something for an event coming up on the 15th of July.
Oh, boy. If it's epoxy, probably ought to do it pretty quick because we're about out of epoxy weather right now.
No, it's going to be more creative writing on wood, and then just finishing it with
I think
something.
you got that carbon paper.
I've got a piece of cedar that I've got cut in mind for that. It's been drying for a while. Make a plaque to put on the front of my house.
Cool.
Because somebody will have been married to the old coot a long time at that point.
I've been married to this whole coot for a long time.
Dean says countertop.
Not quite as long.
But she says that I've got so many personalities, it's never boring.
That's her. That's Tina.
Do you want me to be boring?
Like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get.
Every day is different. Someday you get 6 or 7.
My rendition of Forrest Gump is Mama says life is like a box of chocolates. You just don't know which ones the nuts are.
Hey, Kevin, welcome in.
Hey, Kevin. It's sunny in Berry County. It's sunny in McDonald County, too.
And hot.
Warm, yes. Well, I imagine it is there, too, because it ain't very far away.
Nope. I'm pretty sure it's hot over in Ottawa County, too. And
we got 3 counties all lined right up, don't we?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. It's been hot here today. I've been cleaning out church vans, and I've kind of decided maybe just to get me a electric leaf blower next time and just drive them somewhere I don't mind having a bunch of trash on the ground and blow them all out. Man, it's bad.
Yeah, I was
New rule: no food in the church van.
I went to start my chainsaw up after we sat and ate for a while and everything else, which my blood sugar is already getting a little on the low side. But for whatever reason, that still does not like to start after you've ran for quite a while and then let it sit for a little bit. It's hard to start. So I went over there and it did not want to start, and I felt myself as like getting ready to chuck it. It's like, better just put it back down.
To have a tantrum.
Go walk back over, sit back down for a few minutes, and then I got back over and I finally got it to start. But yeah, it was...
Kevin would do that once in a while. He carries tape measure on his
7 degrees there
belt,
like
the belt of his chaps actually, and he'll pull that off, and then he tries to hook it back on there. It never goes the first time.
Welcome, guys.
Howdy.
He always has to clip it 2 or 3 times, and the thing gets mashed. I don't know how, but the little clip on his tape measure will get mashed where it just will not clip over his top of his. Yeah, I seen him do that 2 or 3 times, and then he got mad, and I could see it in his eyes, and he just threw it. And I'm like, well, that was stupid. Now you got to go find it.
That's the fits my dad used to have.
And so I told him, I said, I don't need getting mad about that. I've got a wrench here in the Bobcat. I can work on that and get it to where it'll hook on there. I know you can, but the stupid thing, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well,
sounds so familiar.
It ain't his fault if you wasn't using it.
Yeah. Yeah, my day started off rough this morning because I put tractor on the battery charger last night. Well, apparently the battery charger doesn't want to work, so it didn't charge. Went out there to start it and nothing. I was like, well, okay. Well, it had an older one in there in the shop that either I got from my grandpa or it was one that her dad used to have. I don't remember, but
either way, it's 30 years old at least.
But I went and hooked it up. It started working, but it took forever to get that battery enough charge in it to start it. Once it started, it's fine. But
that was the least of your troubles.
Yeah. Then I was going to go out and I was going to brush hog on either side of the road going back through this morning before they got here and we started cutting the tree up. Started going down, and I was looked back and all of a sudden realized my brush hog was sitting really wonky. Well, I looked back the other way, the
flip clip came out.
The frame down to the brush hog had come off, so it was just dangling. So I picked it up as best as I could and brought it back, and which it was used when I got it, and apparently he had backed into something and really tweaked it really bad. Well, I was like, well, I've got that old 5-foot brush hog. I could take the 3-point frame off of it and put it on the one I got now. No, because that one is from metal to metal where the pin is 29 inches, and the one on my tractor is only supposed to be 22 inches. I'm like, that's not going to work either. So I have to figure something out because it's time for me to start my second round on brush hogging.
Angie. Well, I understand how that works. But you said dangles, so you could be trying to come up with a new machine there. Have you seen those big? I think the ones I've seen are Palmsy brand. They've got this head on them, and they take with a crane and lay that up against a tree, and it grabs the tree and then cuts it off.
Mm-hmm.
And when they pick it up while the tree tips over, they call those a dangle head.
It's about the angle of the dangle, James says.
Maybe you're going to come up with the dangle brush hog.
There you go. Yeah, I come up with some kind of frame and then just hang it down there as I brush hog and stuff. And
yeah.
You see what Jan says? I'm learning what not to do through Anywho. She's a poet.
Anywho.
Yep,
that's right.
Yeah, I'm full of life lessons on what not to do.
I read Beth's there. I'm like, she says, I'm a little tied up bawling yarn. I read that bailing the first time, and I'm like, that ain't good. Do you have help? Does Neil know you need cut loose?
Makes you an Anywho casserole. That could be interesting.
I was going to say, just a little bit of this and that and everything else. Buy a new John Deere and all your problems will be gone, Eric.
I won't have no money either.
I don't have John Deere money.
Yeah, the payment book that those come with. And, I went to a restaurant here a while back, and they brought me my food, and I ate it, and they brought me the ticket, and I looked at her and said, I didn't order that. and she said, oh, it comes with the meal.
I only want what I ordered.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't have John Deere money. Even use John Deere money is.
Angie calls Tony Danglehead.
You be nice to him, Angie.
Uh-huh. I did not say Neil said he tied her up. You may have to go cut her loose if she gets hung up. But when you read that as bailing, I'm picturing she either got rolled up with it or punched out the back of a square baler with it. And that neither one of those is good.
Yeah, that could be a little interesting there.
Definitely.
But
I think that's the reason James said anywho is because he knows Jan hates that word. Anywho.
Got ragged out from Coyote money. Well, we got the Ford money, but it's 25-year-old. And we're still paying on it.
You know, I got to tell you, all that older stuff will still be going when the new stuff's sitting over there needing help because.
That's what we thought when we bought the Alice Chalmer too.
Well,
sore subject, I know.
However,
anywho,
I still don't even know where it went. The guy that bought it was from South Dakota or Nebraska or somewhere, but he went south when he left here.
Oh goodness!
So,
hey, you got more than what you paid for it, so that makes me happy.
I still got the back tires if you need them back.
I don't think they'll fit my tractor now. So,
I get flower beds.
Pardon me for a moment.
Is your hay making heavy this year, Paul?
Well, I bet when it's rained this much, and the neighbors cut hay the other day, and thankfully we ain't got to do that.
But yeah, it's of course the tractor itself is fine, which I probably just need to break down and buy a new battery for it. But it's the part that goes on the tractor I'm having the issues with.
Yeah,
meaning the brush hog. Eric is a brat. He has everyone saying it. That's right. I'm gonna need to get T-shirts made up just says "Anywho" on the back, or "Anywho Jan."
Anywho.
And then with a QR code that takes you to Jan's YouTube channel if you scan it.
There we go.
Had to stir supper.
Well, no. Angie said you had to pass gas.
No, I had to stir supper. It was boiling.
What's
I
for
just
supper?
I needed to simmer. I am fixing uh, Swiss steak tips.
Ooh, what time? How
Um,
long we got to get over there?
we got enough to
Sounds
go
yum.
around, but I've got so much junk piled around my table ready to go out the door to camp. There's no place to sit.
Hey,
Uh,
Paul, when
Angie,
you
you
stepped
better be
away,
nice to me, Angie. I've
Paul, when
always
you oh,
I've always sang your
up,
song,
up
Angie.
one. There you go.
Kevin had asked that when you just as you stepped away a second ago.
It's gonna be, but I haven't cut a stitch of it yet. Our ground's too wet to drive on. We got a couple of places on the top of a hill, maybe, but I'm thinking it's going to take a week before we can get to most of the stuff that's up high.
Yeah. Well,
Hold on. Anywho, and Ducky, my 2-year-old great niece, we taught her to say "hold on" today, and she's carrying on. Hold on.
That's that Fear Not Farm is Dakota that used to be Old Pecan Homestead.
Oh,
okay.
He wants to know what kind of model of a tractor you have. It's a Ford
39,
10, isn't it?
3930 or 3039.
where'd you leave the tractor?
It's still out back by the tree.
Oh,
I
I
drove
think
the
it's 3930. I could go to some of your videos and watch and figure it out, you know. Even.
I got a picture of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 3930. Oh,
Isn't it beautiful?
pretty blue.
I take lots of pictures of my tractors and my dog.
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. They
I
don't
think
talk
you
back.
know Tina too if she's playing with the dog or on the tractor.
Well, I was out mowing in my house dress when that should not have been a Kodak moment. And then pulls it up and shows it to Paul, and it's like, really?
I haven't showed it to everybody else yet.
Oh goodness.
But yeah, it's a good tractor. If I can just get my brush hog to stay working.
Well, if we could buy a halfway decent one, and instead of buying everybody else's junk that they want hauled out of their yard, because I'm pretty sure that's what we did the last time.
The brush hog runs and cuts just fine. I just got to replace the back tire and the
Get everything to hold together.
Yeah.
This is a picture of the explanation of how solid my ground is. Maybe I can make that better.
Oh my goodness.
Dang it. Yeah.
He showed up at Scott's mill and asked Scott if they were worth more since he'd had to load and unload them 3 times. No.
Bagels and crayons.
I was just drinking water. And I'm out.
James, I sing that all the time. She thinks my tractor's sexy whenever I'm on it and brush hogging. And
I just know I can hear it out in the holler. And as long as it's still running, you're doing good.
well, you got to make sure it's also kind of moving too, because
it could be rolled over and on you, and yeah.
I had one of Dakota's girlfriends. She was out riding with him on the rake several years ago, and we was making hay, and it's hot. I'm like, she has got to be like the second most uncomfortable person out here. So I call him on the phone. He's halfway across the field, and I said, "Reckon she wants to ride with me in the air conditioner for a little bit." I didn't even get it all out. She bails off and starts running toward my tractor, right? And so I was telling her about Joe Diffie's song, John Deere Green, and how that girl in it, what was her name?
Charlene.
Hey, Lisa.
Charlene was colorblind. That was what I told her, and she believed me. that Charlene was colorblind. And how do you know Charlene was colorblind? I said, because she thought it looked good in John Deere green.
It's my people.
I didn't say she thinks. I said he thinks. Well, it is a good looking tractor.
I missed Dakota's comment. I gotta get
Hey,
on
Evan.
YouTube. Why in the world am I not on YouTube?
Oh,
Brain dead.
because it's hot outside and our brains are fried.
If anybody asks you what my
He's
problem
exotic.
is that I've not got a brain.
I don't have one either. Hey, I heard y'all on my phone and stuff. Oh, I bet she's getting big.
Mm-hmm.
Put you on the TV. Oh, I don't need it on the big screen. I'm big enough.
Well, we just got
I
a little
just got
corner
half
of it.
of me, so.
Hmm.
Oh, trying
Sorry,
to read
just
the chat.
reading the chat, yeah.
Trying to. I missed a comment. I didn't see all of it.
Oh, Taya, Evelyn's puppy. Remember the little puppy at 10 Killer? I bet she's not so little anymore.
Probably not.
She heard us and started pawing at her arm, so I put you on the TV where she can see you.
The only tractor I can afford is a Tonka tractor.
Well, I bet them ain't even cheap, a good one anymore.
Yeah. Unless it's one of the newer
Plastic ones.
plastic ones that won't hold up for nothing.
It wouldn't hold up these rocks.
Mm-mm.
There's one out in the shop somewhere. Because remember, I let our grandson paint it, and his mom had a fit. And it's like, he wanted to paint it. I let him paint it. If a boy wants to paint his truck, he paints his truck.
Yeah.
I think pickled it years ago. Oh.
Like I said, today it's more brain fried.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow, our nephew's going to bring out some buddies to help with the tree. And it's like, by all means.
Like, what are you waiting on, right?
Yeah. Why didn't you bring him today?
Well, and we let Jamie, got him up early because he usually works nights, and so he tries to stay on the same schedule through the weekend. It's like, nope, not today, because he's getting up tomorrow. He's going to help because
A matchbox.
just limbing, we was talking about dangerous and stuff, just going through and just trying to limb the tree up and everything. And I'm carrying through, and I stepped on a log that I didn't realize was there and slipped and fell. But luckily, I had the brake on the chainsaw, so.
Aren't those the handiest thing?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you want to hear how dumb Paul is? Paul has spent all this time looking for a comment on your YouTube when the person I was looking for the comment made it on mine.
Always got to sit there and look at the different colors when it's kind of cycling through to see if it's on yours or ours, which some of them are back and forth. Old tank equipments, and I shot them trucks and tractors up with my air rifle, pretending I was big guns. We had Hot Wheels, and my dad was digging a pond out at the time, so he had all the dirt piled up close to the house, so from where he's going to put the pond in. So we got up there and we built caves and tunnels and roads and everything else, and we just had a good old time.
Big old cedar tree at the playground in Pineville at school, and it had all kinds of roots and everything, and we made tunnels and everything through all those roots, and they cut that old tree down. It was big old cedar tree.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gone.
It was kind of amazing to me how them trees that were in playgrounds lived at all, especially in school playgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they might get some grass growing around them in the late summer, but
that's about it.
Nothing but dirt all the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and I was talking about that. They used to have 2 slides at the old elementary at Quapaw, and I went through. They actually built a new elementary building that was 2 blocks away from the old one, and moved into it when I was in the 6th grade. The last month that I was in the 6th grade, we actually helped them move more than we had in class. But
That's
those slides went somewhere, and I'm pretty sure I know where one of them went. It went to a local churchyard, but I don't know where the other one went. But they were those stainless steel sheeted, all steel
Yeah. Well,
slides,
welcome in.
well, learn with Nana.
super tall ladder on them, and
Mhm.
had the sides that stuck up maybe about that far. It was all square built. And the one that we know where it went, it had a big hump in it.
Mhm.
But the other one, we didn't know where it went.
Yeah, Taya was just a little puppy at 10 killer. Now look at her. Look at those ears.
Yep.
My goodness.
Thank you for
Molly's ears.
taking me out of the picture when she said, "Look at them ears."
If Molly's ears would stand up, they'd be like that.
Yeah. They just flop over though.
They just big and floppy ears.
Scared you, didn't I, girl?
Look, the dust already boils on the dirt road.
It don't take long for the road to get dusty.
No, well, and the wind has dried it all out quick.
Oh, there's
Hello,
Kelly
Lauren.
Workman. I didn't see Kelly earlier. I saw Sean.
I've seen Kelly. Hi, Kelly. I don't know where Learn with Nana's at. Do you guys know who that is?
He is in Florida, I believe.
I bet it's really hot down there.
Cool.
Her son lives in Arkansas, who is on Come On Mountain.
Right.
Am I right, Nana?
Yeah.
He's cute. She is David with Come On Mountain's mother. We met
Yep.
her at Mid America.
Okay.
A little bit I get to go.
Yes,
Had to work.
Beth.
he had
That
to
is.
work.
That's exactly what that slide was.
That burner.
It was a great big tall one, man.
Mm-hmm.
We had one that, looped down and had a couple of bumps. And I had a kid was chasing me, and he went off the side, and he ended up getting stitches in his head. But
Yeah.
the good old days. We got stitched up. We did it again.
That old stainless steel out there in that bright sunlight. You get on that, nothing would slide.
Oh yeah.
I always wore jeans to school. I never wore shorts. But them kids that had shorts on, they'd be like, just like speed bumping down it,
Yep. You get on that thing and you'd wind up with 3rd-degree burns by the time you hit bottom if you was wearing-
Right.
Or you
That's-
stuck to it by the time you got to the bottom.
That's why there was a pool of water at the bottom of them sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, the good old toys that they don't get to have nowadays. Big,
Yeah. It's not padded.
big metal dome monkey bar things that you
Mm.
climbed on. And I remember one year a kid slipped and fell, and he got his ankle caught up in one of the angles on them domes and
We
slipped
never had a
through.
dome one.
And you hang there when that happens. Yeah. By your
Well, he didn't hit the ground.
No, but you could hear that crack from the other side of the playground. It's like the whole playground just went silent. It's like, all of a sudden it's just, you heard him squalling there for a second, just dangling there. His ankles just, hung up in that.
Now, we had a set of monkey bars that were squares, and I can't remember if it was 9 or 16. I bet it was 16 squares because the top of it was at least 4, and it went 3 layers tall. And
Say that sounds like the one we had.
you could get in a real mess if you got up on top and you was headed the wrong direction. A friend of mine said, "I get how to get up there, but how do you climb down?" Right? Like you can turn around somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You see a stage where you wonder if she will grow into them, but you know she will.
Yep. Well, it's like Molly when she was younger. A pup, she'd go running and she'd have her nose down to the ground just trying to figure out her sniffer. And
She'd trip over her
yeah,
ears.
she'd always trip over her ears and just go tail over head and flop on the ground. Yep, sure beats the heck out of that sheet metal slide. Oh, yeah. I remember the merry-go-round. That was flung you out.
That was fun.
Uh-huh. Yeah, those was always fun.
My grandson's a little over 2
Died
years
that I
old.
remember.
See if I can find it.
Might have been times we thought we were gonna.
Mm-hmm. Of course, that was all before the cell phones and everything else. Oh, excuse me.
What happened?
Merry-go-rounds was fun.
Do what?
Merry-go-rounds was fun.
Yep. We'd always get one person to sit in the middle of it, and you get everybody lined up around and sitting there trying to spin it, see how fast you can get it going, and how long before they get flying off
Or throw up.
or throw up.
I seen a short or something here a while back that they had. I don't know if they had a tractor or what, but they like a bungee cord and wrapped it all up and then pulled that and wing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that one too.
Oh.
Now I just look, I see something like that. It's like, man, I'm glad nobody
man.
thought of that when I was younger because we would have been dumb enough to try.
Go home broken.
Like,
Mom, I think I hurt myself.
I'm at the point now. It's just your body starts hurting just looking at it, knowing what would wind up happening.
Yeah, same. I have some of that. I guess I've erased that video. I had a little video of Lane going down his slide. Scott's porch around the tall end of his house. He made it to where it had it's got a patio type of a concrete floor, and then he put a guardrail around it that was cedar slabs, and they were all junk when he put them up there, and it was falling apart. So he cut a part of it out and took the plastic slide out of an old swing set and fixed it up there to where Lane could run up the walkway to get on the porch and then slide down. Oh, he was just having a ball.
You made a short out of that one too,
I
didn't
was
you?
thinking I did.
I think you did. I remember seeing that because he had quite the trail wore down round and
Yep,
round and around.
yep. And I asked Scott why he put the top deal over it, if that was a height limiter, like you got to be this tall, you got to be under this tall to go down this one. He said, no, I thought I put that up there to help hold things together. And then he said, I realized the slide was actually holding all the other up. So I'm like, I hope it don't all come crashing down. Caitlin will be mad at you. I need to get a picture of the swing set he made. He had some pine logs and he didn't have nowhere to go with them, and he cut out a bunch of 8x8s and made this enormously heavy swing set, and used. He had some Boughton swings he hung on it, and then he had a 2-seater with an ottoman or not an ottoman.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, one of them.
One of them things.
In it, in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah. Built the kid a sandbox. I said, "You'll have cats now."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Snakes. Ew.
Yep.
Hi, Sean.
But
Glad video cameras and cell phones were non-existent. Boy, ain't that the truth. We had a whole lot more fun growing up without them.
oh yeah. Well, heck, I grew up right there on the west side of Joplin, so I had all my friends live there in the neighborhood that was just in town. Get up in the morning on Saturday morning, or if it was during summer, whatever, and you wouldn't see us until the street lights came on. And
Well, not us. We had work to do.
well, I still had my
That's the difference between city kids and country kids. Huh. Yeah.
Mine was depending on if it was a weekday where Dad was at work, or not. If Dad was home, I was helping him.
Yeah. That was something I didn't know nothing about until I was old enough to read anything on social media, probably, to being home when the streetlights came on was a thing, because we were home anyway.
We didn't have no street lights.
My dad never even has had a pole light on his meter pole because he didn't like he don't like what it does if you're out in the yard. He wears glasses and claims he gets extra reflections from it. And I'm like, how do you know you don't have one?
That's true.
I've always had one, and here anyway. I guess we have one at the other place too, but the one here is our night light. We don't have to have any lights on in the house at night.
Yeah.
Well, I know the other night when the electric went out. What day was that?
And
Well, we had that big storm come through the
we
other
could
day.
go Sunday night or 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago tomorrow night.
No, this one was this week. wasn't it?
Yeah,
You're living
all
on-
everybody on Newmac
We were out for like 10 hours.
from
Really?
from the west side or east side of Knoll all the way through to us to 70, 71. Everybody was out of power from about 1:30 in the morning to I think 11:30 or noon
All the way to
when
the
it finally
state
came on.
line.
It was Wednesday.
Yeah.
It was Wednesday.
I woke up and I'm thinking, boy, it's really dark in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
No little power lights of anything, Usually you got phones charging and stuff, and there's little something everywhere. There was nothing. And it's like, wow, it's really dark.
Well, I woke up, I heard a thump, and then all of a sudden the power went out. And I was like, and we've got one big tree that it really needs to come down, but it's right next to the power line coming for the drop for the house. So that's one of those that's someone that knows what they're doing is going to have to drop it for me. But, and I just knew that tree fell and hit that power line. And I left for work that morning, and that tree wasn't there, but there's a lot of small stuff all out and everything else. Never did hear what exactly it was, but yeah, there's a little over 1,000 people out of power for quite some time that day.
To go something
Thing for city folks back in the day. Yeah, I had kind of a hybrid, between city kid and country kid because living right there, Dad had his farm, so I still had all that stuff to do, but then at the same time, I still did the street light thing,
You heard that comedian talking about the difference between city kids and country kids, farm kids, especially city kids. They had their chores.
Mm-hmm.
You take the trash to the curb once a week, which had wheels on it. You drug it to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
Farm kids, if they don't do their chores, the bank comes and repossesses the farm.
Yep.
They're like, there's some level of seriousness to that.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was just a little shaver, I couldn't even see. If I put my feet on the pedals in the truck, I couldn't see over the dash. And Dad had me sitting in the seat steering the truck while he got out and got in the back and put out square bales of hay for the cows in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, that's kind of where it all started. Well, he was selling some hay, square bales, to some folks that didn't live very far from here, but they were a little more citified. And they come over with their pickup, and they had a boy. They went to our church. They had a boy that was a year older than me, and he didn't know nothing about driving. And Dad had actually sent me down the road in the pickup to go to Grandma's to get something out of the shop there that he needed while he was working. And so I just took off in the pickup and drove down there. I was used to doing it. I come back. I was probably all of 10. And boy, that lady was throwing a fit. How come Paul knows how to drive, but Brian don't, And they put him in their truck trying to drive it while they're picking up hay and stacking on that truck. They must have restacked that hay on that truck 10 times.
Yep.
It was like, the difference is that's not where you want to start your first rodeo at.
I started out driving my dad's old 1960 3/4 ton Ford that had the 300 straight six and it had a granny gear in it, so I could put it in granny gear, and all I would have to do is scooch down when we got to the end of the pasture and push the clutch in so I could slow down enough to make the turn, and I could keep a good pace to going up. Because we got in there, he's like, okay, there's the clutch. Because you don't need to worry about those other two pedals, because he'd just slide in real quick, put it in granny gear and jump out, and I'd slide over and I'd start doing the steering wheel. And I could just see over the hood, barely see over the hood. And we did that all day. And then after that, Mama brought us some sandwiches for lunch. And we got a little slough that went through the pasture, with a little hill. He's like, okay, go down, park underneath this tree. We'll eat our lunch, and then we'll get back to picking up the rest of this hay. I was like, okay. So I started going down. He's like, okay, stop. I'm pushing the clutch in because that's the only pedal Dad told me to do. He goes, stop. I'm like, he goes, hit the brake. I'm like, which one's the brake? He goes, the middle pedal.
My brother run my dad's or my mom's Suburban into the garage door and caved it in because he was used to driving Dad's pickup, and all you had to do with it was shut the key off and it would stop pretty quick.
Uh-huh.
So he come in there and shut the key off on that Suburban, and it was Dad's old pickup was a 66 Chevy half ton. It had 350 in it, but it had a 4-speed out of like a 52 2-ton. And so the 4-speed transmission was much heavier. And whatever gear you had it in, if you shut the key off, it would stop pretty quick. But that half ton was not like that. That's Suburban. And he coasted in there and he's like, "Are we going to stop?" I was with him. "Are we going to stop? Are we going to stop? Are we going to stop?" I said, "No, apparently we're going to climb out the windows."
Yep. Yeah, Dad told me, he goes, "Okay, after lunch," he goes, "I'm going to show you the other 3 pedals. Not that you're really going to need them a whole lot, or the other 2 pedals. I'm sorry, but yeah. So after we ate our sandwiches and our chips, and we got back in. He's like, "Okay, gas, brake," and then we figured it out from there. So after that, yeah, that's what I learned to drive in. That's a good old truck. One of these days, he still got it sitting out there in his farm, but
the early truck was not what I learned to drive on, though. I steered the truck a lot for Dad putting out hay, but I remember driving a riding lawnmower
Time.
back and forth from my grandma's house to my mom and dad's house. Every time we mowed yard, we had to mow both of them, and it didn't even let me mow back then, but they would put me on that mower and drive it down the road. And them little old lawnmowers, riding lawnmowers have come a long way, but trying to drive one of them down the road and keep it to where it don't look like you're driving drunk is really something to do, because they're so short coupled. You'd be doing this all the way down there, and it would leave those tracks on the road until somebody come by and drove through them real good, you know.
Grandpa's.
My oldest son, I tried that with him, getting him to steer while I got out and got on the back of the truck to feed hay. Well, it was an old 1-ton 4-wheel drive that I had, and I put it in low 4-wheel drive and in low gear. And if I was just walking beside it, I'd be walking twice as fast as the truck's going. I just got on the back of it and taken off down. We're going down through the pasture, and it's all clear. You don't really have to do anything, but I probably got 1 bale fed, and he goes to screaming hysterical. I mean, at the top of his lungs. I could hear he's crying from the back of the truck, and I get off the back of the truck and walk around there. And I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "I'm going to run into those cows." And I'm like, "As fast as you're going, I don't think you catch them." You know?
Yeah, I had every intention. All 3 of my kids was going to learn how to drive a manual transmission, and I got my oldest daughter taught. And then by the time Jamie, my son, got old enough, we didn't have a truck with a manual transmission in it anymore. And it's like, well, crud. So,
Well, we didn't teach her on the truck with the manual transmission. We had a car with.
no, I taught her in that little Ford that I had, because she drove out here on the farm with it first. About almost, hey, Tuber Chat, welcome in.
Hey, Kevin.
Over a decade ago now.
Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
But yeah, she's
She's
30
now.
You're getting old. You can't even hardly buy a vehicle nowadays that's got a manual transmission.
Most of them are automatics anymore, for sure.
Yep.
Even the semis nowadays are automatic.
I have a couple other stories about manual transmission and the ways you can get in trouble with one. I bought a piece of ground about 4 miles from home here. Golly, it's been over 25 years ago. And I didn't have a catch pen or a corral there, but I fixed up some of the fence on it right away, and I had cattle I put over there. And I had cows that was having calves over there. So I was over there feeding them every day. It was winter time. And I went over there and was putting out hay, and I realized I had a calf that was coughing. And they'll get a respiratory problem and do that sometimes. And you need to catch them and give them a shot. And so I watched him a little while and figured out this was not a fluke thing. He just don't feel good. So I get in my truck and I drive to the vet clinic, and I get a shot, and I drive back over there. I've got them all fed hay, and what happens a lot of time, little calves would be up nursing the cows while they're all standing there eating hay. So I figured I could drive around them until I could step out the door and rope him. And if I just reach in and shut the key off as I'm getting out, throw my rope on that calf, I'll be able to snub him up to the truck maybe. Well, apparently he was a little bigger than I thought he was. And the first time I flat missed, I'm not much of a rope thrower anyway. The second time I hit him in the head, the third time I got him around the neck. And, but the third time I missed getting the key shut off.
Oh.
And I thought, well, I'm going to have to drag this booger to the truck while it's walking away from me, in low gear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what do I do? I couldn't even drag the calf. So I had to chase the calf close enough to the truck. I could snub the rope around the ball hitch on the back of it and just had enough when I run around the front to reach in the window and shut the key off.
Oh.
And it's good we were going uphill because I was pretty out of breath by that time. I'm fat and old. We were about 10 foot from a good solid oak tree, though.
Mm-hmm.
The moral of that story is anytime you think you know what a calf weighs and you're going to have to catch him with a rope, you better add 100 pounds. Yeah, I can get myself in a big heap of trouble.
Yeah, I remember as a kid we had a heifer that got out and got over on the neighbor's property, which her neighbor's bull, because we always had polled Herefords at the time, and neighbor raised Herefords. Well, his bull kept getting over and breeding with our cows, and you could always tell the difference because our bull that we had, he's like a big old puppy dog. You walk out there in the pasture, he come running up to you and he wanted you to scratch him on the head. That bull would run you out of the pasture. So you always had to do a double take because he got to where he was turning fence up there for a while until the neighbor got the fence fixed good. Just to make sure that bull wasn't out there. But anyway, this one heifer was out of him and she was mean. And she gotten over on neighbor's property. So we went over there. My dad and uncle was on horses and I was on foot. And she's over there in the little slough. And I was trying to guide her up out of there and then get her to go up where my dad and uncle get in behind her and run her back over. Well, she decided she's going to turn around on me, and I didn't have anything to hold on to but her horns. And I'm like, great, now what? I'm knee deep in mud, and which luckily she was too, so neither one of us was able to push each other. But I'm sitting there holding, my dad comes over with the rope. He's like, okay, let go with the left hand. So I let go with the left hand. He slides the rope over, grab back on, take a hold with my right hand and throw the rope back around her ear and her horn there, and he's able to cinch her up and take her and pull her back. But
you thought that was going to be fun, didn't you?
No, that was the only thing I had to do. Dad's like, next time, why don't you move out of the way? Like, that probably would have been the smart thing to do.
Looky there, Heartland headquarters with Think and Tank.
You lost me 40 minutes ago, something about cars and tractors and transmissions. Well, 40 minutes ago, we were still on wood.
Then we went to cars. Well, not really cars, but tractors and transmissions. Yeah. It's along the way there.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
It's all right.
Well, let's talk about sparkles and glitter for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah, Tina's got some.
I got sparkly shoes on.
And you also got some sparkly glitter for some of the epoxy.
I do. I need to be out there working, but it's too hot.
Mm-hmm.
If you sweat enough, it's kind of sparkly a little bit.
Yeah.
We were definitely there today.
And when you have sawdust all over you and you're covered in sweat, that sawdust gives it a little extra glisten to it as well.
I don't understand. I don't understand at all how when you get older you can get dehydrated quicker. I guess I don't know what the deal is, but yeah. Well,
I don't know. It was awful sweaty out there today.
Yeah.
As I said, when Dad wanted to cut trees down, he picked the coldest day of the year. And then here we picked the hot. Well, yeah. So far this year, it's been the hottest day. So
yeah, we weren't cutting it just to cut it though.
Well, I know.
money, and so
Yep.
we didn't have much of a choice.
Other motivations.
Pasture skiing
Mhm.
behind a heifer that
Eric's
he
still
needed
a
to
bit
pull a
shiny.
calf from.
Yeah, we didn't take a shower or anything. We just got back to the house right before the lights. We had enough time to sit down, get something to drink, and then get set up.
We didn't figure y'all would smell us, so
Yeah, I could smell her.
I can smell you.
Thank you for mentioning that. I'll be right back.
Have to get separated. The boss just got home. Love you. Love you too,
Love you,
Jen.
Jen.
Anywho, we'll see you later. Remember, everybody go to Jan's videos and post anywho in the comments. Go through Ridge Free Ridge. Well, welcome in.
You want onions in this?
I do. Tina don't like onions,
I
but
don't
I
like
do.
onions.
So
Yeah.
put extra in Tina's, huh?
Yeah.
She tells me, but she waits till after I
You
sit
need me
down.
to cut them up?
No, I'm sitting here doing nothing but talking with Eric and Tina and about 30 other people. See the kind of help I have?
Uh-huh. Oh, goodness.
Inclusive of Scottish. Oh, cool.
Cool.
Well, welcome in, definitely.
Yep. Glad to have you here. So,
Yeah, Jamie just took off. He went to buy a Sonic for supper, so I don't have to cook.
What do you got Jesse doing?
he's probably crashed out in on the couch in the living room. At least that's what she was doing when we got back up. She went out there and helped too. She helped quite a bit. So, but yeah, she got sat down and.
And she's pasty white, so she's probably sunburnt.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's Pasty White, then there's Jessica
She glows.
from Edinburgh. Cool, awesome.
And then she traced after the 2-year-old today, so that was kind of a workout.
Mm-hmm.
That chasing after them youngins ain't no old people thing.
Well, I told her let her run. There's nowhere for her to go. We was a mile out in the middle of nowhere.
Dogs would have kept an eye on her.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany, welcome in. They could have took her and showed her all their good places where they like treeing small furry critters and stuff. Oh, Jessica literally just woke up, so Jessica's awake now. Check my account. We'll do that after we get down to live. We sure will. So, Paul's in there cooking dinner, getting dinner ready. We got our son headed to get dinner, and we're cheating and doing Sonic. So, was gonna cook on the Blackstone, cook some succotash, but
Food is a super universal topic. I don't know too many people that don't eat.
that is true.
You know.
Look at there. We're going to post it so everybody can go check your channel out.
Good job, dear.
I did. I'm so excited. I got a short that's growing to, well, last I looked, it was almost to 130,000. I don't know what I did because I don't remember how to do it again.
You have to go back and watch and take notes.
I was like, it was the most random. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it was
It's like
weird.
that grizzly video that we had just out of the blue. That thing, because we just
And we ain't been able to do one of them again
literally
either.
just threw that one together, and that one blew up. And then the short is just of her just
Brandon aboard.
yeah.
Yeah, I got a friend that makes videos. He's wildly popular, and his first thing he does, he'll start the video. He says, "Well, I don't know what I'm doing," and I think people watch that and think, "Oh, it could be the scene of an accident we're going to get to witness." And I'm like, "It's pre-recorded."
What did I miss? Jessica's deleted them.
Oh, looks like Angie's said she's got to go. All right, well, we'll see you later, Angie.
I love you too, Angie.
Yeah, I think, wow, 100,000. I wish.
So, how long are you going to go live tonight? Just question.
I think we'll probably cut it off here after a bit.
Thank you for that exacting answer.
I accidentally hit buttons, Jesse said.
We may go to 6:30.
Hi, Jesse.
Sonic sounds great. It does, and nobody has to cook it. Well, we don't anyway.
Yeah. I'm not awake enough. She's never awake enough. Yeah, I figure we'll do about 6:30 because that way I can still go in and.
Considering we ain't done a live in almost a month.
I think this is only our second live since 10 Killer.
I think so. Did we do one at 10 Killer?
Oh, that onion looks delicious.
Yeah.
I like a good onion.
You.
Hey, Tina.
Yes.
Watch this.
Oh, look, we're falling down there.
It'd be all right.
I thought you was falling down because of my breath already.
You look knocked us down.
Tina's complaining about my breath the other morning.
Woo! Yeah, it was some morning breath.
Anita and I decided we wanted to go to Taco Bell one evening here, probably been 6 months ago, a year ago, probably after Sunday night church. And we run down there in Miami. We were in Commerce anyway, so we run over to Miami. And the line at the drive-thru at Taco Bell was plumb out the back of the parking lot. And I knew the guy that was behind us in line. And I got out and asked him if I could get out of line. He said, sure. He let me get out. We went down the street to the Mexican restaurant. I had told her, I said, I bet we can go down there and eat and be out before we get through this line. And we went down there and ate chips and salsa, and they brought us our food, and we ate that. And we had soft drinks brought to us to our table, and we get paid for the meal. Go out the door, and there's that guy that was behind us in line just then going by.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember back years ago when I was still doing construction, was working up Pittsburgh on the county courthouse up there, and I stopped at Burger King one morning because I didn't get anything to eat before I left the house. So I was like, well, I'll just stop in here at Burger King, grab me a breakfast sandwich, and go on into the job site. Get in there. The drive-thru was all the way around, and the parking lot was full of all kinds of people in there. I run in there, and I'm like, there's one lady working, and I heard her say something about one had called in sick, another one had decided they was quitting, and the manager that was supposed to have been there was off doing something else. So I'm like, I'll just leave and I'll just go down to McDonald's. And I went to McDonald's and grabbed a sandwich there.
So the other morning when we didn't have any electricity, I didn't have no coffee to begin the day with.
That really stinks, don't it? I was out of
Yes.
coffee on Monday, and I'm like, you better make me a gallon of sweet tea if you want me to be human before noon. So she did and put it in the fridge, and she said, how'd that work out? I said, not very good.
Not very good.
It was wonderful, but not very good.
I'd say the sheriff got in, which no, it wasn't the sheriff because he overslept because he was out of electricity too. It was one of them come in and said, how are you this morning? I was like, not very well. I've not had my first cup of coffee. They're like, walk away, walk away. Not
really the thing you want to ask somebody who got to work when their electric was off at home.
Right.
Hey, Xander, welcome in.
Hey, Xander.
Look there. There's Xander.
But yeah, I wound up
on in here.
going into work early because I'm able to take a shower at work. So I took a shower, made coffee,
I had baby wipes.
had breakfast. So other than having to leave the house a little bit earlier so I can take a shower at work, I
got a small cup of coffee at the gas station, which was nasty. And luckily I have my own coffee pot in my office, so it held me over till I got to the office.
Here's a question for you guys over there. When your electric's off, does your cell phone work?
As long as it's charged.
Yeah. Well, I know in some places it don't because their service is not backed up with generators. And I think maybe they took steps to change that, but I'd heard some people talking about that there was no backup generators at their local to them tower, so they couldn't get service when their electric was off.
There's
Kind
Tom
of
from Old J Woodworks. Howdy,
Hey,
welcome
welcome
in.
Yeah, we had, we got T-Mobile. I had cell service, which our tower, I think our closest tower is up there in Pineville, up there by our office, and it's off of a different line, so we still had power.
Yeah.
So,
Which reminds me, I got a message from them the other day that it's time to update our first responder thing again. We get a little bit of a discount since we're both first responders, and we have to make sure they know that we're still first responders every year.
Yeah. Yeah, James, it's not good. No talkie before coffee.
Absolutely.
Tamara says coffee is required to function. Well, I can get by, but it's probably not good that I'm doing high stress things.
Like I said, I get up at 5:30 so I can have time to sit and relax with my coffee to be to work at 8.
I don't know how that works. I don't need to set an alarm clock very often. I'm usually wake up at 6:30 or something like that. And this morning I woke up at 6:30 and I'm like, I set my alarm. I'm just gonna wait for the alarm to go off. Rolled back over, almost fell asleep, rolled back over and looked at my phone and I'm like, I thought I set my alarm for 7:15. I looked, I did. 7:15 p.m.
All the towers, they had their own generators built next to them in the past. Points to his father who built towers to the bottom of cell phones starting.
Yeah, I know most of them have generators, but I've heard people talking about the fact that whenever electric was off in their area, they wouldn't have any cell service. You remember who it was?
Usually all of them, everybody goes out of electric, and we don't have any problems. And this time, it was this whole end of all along the bottom of the state, next to the state line. And yeah, it was Newmac that got hit. Normally, it's not them.
yeah.
But we were out 10 hours.
Yeah, normally where we're at now, there are some areas that's got Newmac that's been out for quite a while. Usually it's up in Newton County. Usually we're pretty lucky, but yeah, this time we got zapped, and so I can't complain too much about them though.
I was out of electric here when I was growing chickens in the wintertime. We'd had a storm, and my mom and dad, a mile down the road, had electric. They had been out here and restored theirs, but they didn't bother coming on down my line. I had to run on a generator for my chicken farm for, I think it was 6 days or 7, something like that. And it's just a good thing they were big chickens, or I would have had problems. I wasn't having to run any heat. But yeah, it was a mess. I blew the engine up in my dad's tractor trying to run a generator to power my house during that. Anita went out with me to do chores, and we had animals there. We had on automatic waters, and of course you got to keep that kind of going. So we started that generator up, and we got in the truck and left, and was going to go do chores. And we went and fed cows 2 or 3 different places, and come back about 2 hours later. And I parked the truck back in the barn right by where that tractor was at, hooked to that generator, and I got almost to the house before I realized, hey, that tractor ain't running. And it had blowed up. I don't know what happened, but it made a whole bunch of compression inside the crankcase because it blowed the oil filler cap and the dipstick out of it. We found them on the ground about 50 or 75 feet away.
Oh,
Locked up tighter than a jug now. That's what you get for borrowing stuff right there. Dad got a better tractor. Loaned me his tractor. It blew up while I was using it, and he got a better one.
I know. Our generator there at work, they've got it in a concrete building built around the backside of our office, and we go through oil heaters for them all the time because it gets so cold there in the wintertime. And had some of our board members complaining because like, well, there's generators that sit out and fill, when it's cold and they don't have any issues. And the electrician told them, like, Yeah, but they're not sitting in an ice box with all that cold just
Yeah.
sucked right there to them.
Yeah. A concrete box would be pretty cold to be in when it's 10 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about ways you can complicate things.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know, it's great. You know, if a tornado was to hit the building, you know, it's a little bit more protected, but 99.99% of the time, it's more of a hindrance than anything else. So,
Those ones that are at those cell phone towers, though, you think the tower's going to stay through a tornado, or
nope.
and they do the same thing with them? They'll have all their electric components and a generator down there inside of a fence, inside of a great big box. There's two of them towers less than a mile apart on the Spooklight Road over here,
Mm-hmm.
and they're always out servicing them. The things I hate about those towers that are close to us is that whenever the weather's really nasty and low clouds, they run a strobe light
Mm-hmm.
on them things, and they are super bright.
No nader juice.
Yeah, ours on our tower because we're up high enough, so we've got a white strobe light that goes on through during the day, and then it switches over to red blinky light at night. And it, for whatever reason, there for the longest time, it wasn't switching; it was just staying the white strobe all the time. And there's a lady that lived several miles down, but we're on a hilltop, and she was on a hilltop, and that strobe just hit her bedroom window just right, and it just light up her bedroom. So she started calling and complaining. That's how they realized that they need to get the techs out there to fix it.
Well, James, it could be that I'm just a I'm a lot better son than whoever it is you're loaning your stuff to. You want your dad to be happy with you, you borrow his tractor and blow it up, you probably replace it.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a while to find one that suited him too.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, my dad's real particular about all his tools and everything growing up. And you go in his shop, each one of his tools got its own spot and
Eric
where it
didn't
hangs.
learn that.
Not inherited. Not
Not
inherited.
inherited.
I inherited my uncle's habit of
Just lay it there.
just lay it down wherever you're working at. And
Then you go back to find it. Where did that go? Well, I don't
Well,
know where I put it.
there's a local farmer to me. He's passed away several years ago. I used to buy straw from him behind his combine, and he had the idea that he just leave his tools wherever he last used them.
Ooh.
And you know what he told me? I never had anybody steal any of my tools. I'm like, you
They
wouldn't
could've
know
left
it if they did. You wouldn't know it if
Well,
they did.
I had borrowed when I hauled that Alice Chalmers home. I borrowed Dad's trailer and one of his chains, or a couple of his chains, and hauled it. Well, only one of his chains made it back, I guess, because he's asked me here a few months ago. He's like, "Do you have my chain? One of my chains?" I'm like, "No, I sure don't." And well, when I took my tractor and brush hog up to his place to was going to work on something, and I was working on the old brush hog. I went to chain it down, and I got the chains out of my trailer out of the toolbox. I'm like, "Where'd this chain come from?"
That's my chain.
I'm like, "Oh, I think this is Dad's chain." So I chained Dad's. I go pulling in up there to the farm. Got out, and I was like, "Dad, I found your other chain." He goes, "Where was it?" It's like in my toolbox on my other trailer. He's like, "Thought so."
My dad said the best thing and the worst thing was that they ever invented was a toolbox on a tractor. And it wasn't ever much of a problem when we only had two tractors. I mean, you can find it. You get 6 different machines working 3 miles apart, each one of them. You can look for a while before you find what you're lost.
Yep.
I've had some issues with losing stuff like that. And, I go to needing something, I would go borrow it from my dad and realize what I borrowed was mine, and he knew it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't too long after we got the side by side. I was driving down. There's an old logging road back in behind the house, and we was driving through it, and well, we didn't realize the tree had fell down and dragged part of the barbed wire fence down through there, and it got wrapped all up around the axle. I finally, with my Leatherman, I finally got off. I was like, nope. After that, I went to Harbor Freight, and yeah, I got just a cheap plastic ammo can and some cutters and pliers and stuff to keep it strictly for the side-by-side. That way, if I'm out and about somewhere.
Yeah, that was a job getting that out. Brand new side by side, and we're like, oh no, what are we gonna do?
So,
It was a job.
Yep. 6 siblings that split money from land and auction.
Yeah.
So, but anywho,
Jan's already left.
I know. In case she watches the replay,
There you
she
go.
left.
She'll know you thought about her.
Anita's apparently on Facebook and just got a message that has something to do with all of us. You want to say that a little louder? Isn't that who you're talking about?
What?
Faith Leonard?
Yeah. She just had her baby.
Did she really? She
3
didn't make it till July.
She was 7 pounds and 2 ounces.
Yeah, I pulled it up, and there she is, first right at the top.
No pain meds.
Well, that's really something. Dale was sure it was going to be 10 pounds, 12 pounds, something like that. 14.
She wasn't big enough for a 12-pound.
Congratulations, Leonards, all of y'all.
Yeah. No pain meds. I had my first one that way, and I was like, that was enough of that.
I had our first one that way too, and decided that I would take pain meds next time she's having a baby.
Yeah, the second one, I was like, give me all you got and the best of it, and yeah, whatever I can have.
Yeah, so glad you did.
And the third one, I think I pushed 2 or 3 times, and yeah, there she was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was done with that mess. 3's enough.
Yep.
Old Joe has commented a lot, and there's a lot of it I can tell he's from another country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Grumpy +1. That's
Yes,
right.
she's pretty.
Aww.
Oh, let me be.
With
Aww.
them little fat cheeks.
See, there, Amy's gonna be mad at us because she can't even spill the beans. Ha ha ha.
Well, in all fairness, it's from Amy's post.
Hey, all of y'all act surprised when you see Amy's post or Amy put something on YouTube about it. Her Faith does. So,
Well, we can all say she's beautiful.
yep, she's beautiful. Don't say I've seen her before though.
But she's beautiful.
She's beautiful. Oh, she's beautiful.
There it was Facebook official. Now it's YouTube official. So now it's official. And we got to make it YouTube official.
There we go.
Before she did.
Well, like I said, was teaching Nevaeh to say "hold on" today. That
Hold
was quite
on.
funny.
Did you teach them how to spell it?
Well, she's only 2.
You know these things. My grandson is getting where he talks a lot more, and he's really soft when he talks. And so Papa has to really listen to hear what he's saying. But when he says something and means it, you know it. Yeah.
Oh, you showing the hold on?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Hold on. And as soon as she does it, I want to see. Hold on.
Hold on.
She's pretty tickled with herself. I said, I'm surprised she wasn't any dirtier than what she was after being out there all day in the field.
She got to play with the dogs, and
the dogs got to play with her. And then she had popsicles, and
I think she had 2, but I think she only took 1 or 2 bites of one and wore the rest of it. So
yeah,
grandchildren are to spoil. That's the truth.
And our grandson turned 8 last week on the 14th.
Yeah.
They're getting big.
Yeah, I told Abby, our oldest, So, yep, grandkids are our reward for letting you live to adulthood.
Wild huckleberry. Look, there's Paul.
Yeah, you just never know, do you?
Uh-huh. So, but yeah, I
Well,
think.
Huckleberry be excited to hear I'm fixing to go back to camp. You guys knew that there was some of us that stayed at a church camp not very far from the 10 Killer meetup. Man, we had a good time.
Well, that's good.
I click on that.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was a good deal,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't home.
Yeah, nothing's ever home, and it's nice to.
How does that ever work out? You know, it's like there should be some place that feels a little bit like home. If I take enough ibuprofen, the one I'm going to sleep on this week feels kind of like home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We,
See you later, Dan.
Let's go. Y'all have a great evening. Have a good evening, Dan.
Good to see you. When we stayed up at Pomme de Terre last year, because we stayed in one of the cabins, and the mattress is only about
Bunkies. Yeah.
that, and it sagged, and it had like a waterproof cover on it that was noisy. We did not sleep
At all.
that weekend. Jessica slept on the pull-out bed, so she did pretty decent. This year we stayed in one of the yurts, and
Absolutely, Lori.
it actually had a full-size mattress on it, and it was actually really comfy.
Other than it was a full size.
Yeah, it was only a full size for 2 full-size adults, but it was actually still fairly comfortable. We both had to sleep on our sides pretty much, but
And the yurt had air conditioning.
yeah, well, the cabin had air conditioning too, but
Why's the front door open?
that's a good question. She's letting all her air conditioning out.
Dang kids. Should just skip them and go straight to the grandkids. Right, Lori?
That's would have been a lot easier. I tell my sisters I should have skipped the sisters and gone right to the nieces and nephews.
Yes, I'm gonna go shut that door.
I don't know why she's.
I don't know if Jamie may not have shut it good when he left, so it may have been open the whole time he's been gone.
Oh boy. So it's not gonna be nice and cool when we get in there.
He may have opened it.
I think Jessie opened it. She said we're not going through that like we did last year and went through with no air conditioning, and she went and bought one. It's like, okay.
So I heard I've heard a new rash of dad jokes. Have you had any good dad jokes lately?
I don't know. I'm not a dad.
You probably get all kinds of those working at the sheriff's department.
Oh boy.
There was a little boy
Speaking
come
of
up
that,
to me.
we're on. Have you heard of?
Well, let him tell his dad joke
Okay,
first.
dad joke.
Well, that's all right. I can remember
Or
mine.
runs by.
Don't forget yours. Little boy come up to me at church 2 weeks ago, and he says, "Hey, brother Paul, what do you call a fish with no eye?" I'm like, I don't know. He goes, "Shh." I said, "What?" He said, "Shh." I'm like, first time I tried to tell that to somebody else, I said, "You don't know how hard it is to say a fish with no eye."
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul's about to leave.
He gone.
Oh.
Now you can tell your story.
Oh,
Come on with it.
I was going to say that on Patrol Live that I don't. Is it on Peacock?
It's on Reels, which you can watch it either on Amazon or Peacock. I know if it's on Amazon, you got to pay for it. I don't know about Peacock, but
Yeah, you ought to be careful over there because crime last night and tonight is non-existent in McDonald County because the TV crews are here.
The other night they got like 7 road deputies on compared to our normal 2.
And so, yeah, all the bad guys are in hiding, or in Arkansas or Oklahoma or Newton County or Berry County. They've scattered.
Well, all the ones over here are gone somewhere else because this is the weekend they're having that OFAS deal.
Ah,
Seen something
And
about that.
so this morning, what time was that? We sitting here and heard that, and I'm like, well, what was that?
Well, it was before noon.
And she's like, I don't know, and I'm like, it wasn't thunder, I don't think. I went out and looked around, clear blue sky.
That's what we did.
And I'm like, probably somebody doing something they ain't supposed to be doing. It's probably what it is. So I came in and put a post on Facebook, and one of my friends down at Seneca said, well, it's OFAS weekend. I'm like, oh. And then 3 people didn't know what that was. And I'm like, look it up on Google. You'll find it right away. But anybody on here that don't know, it's the people that's putting that on is the same people that used to have that D-Day deal, isn't it?
I think so.
The one
Pretty
that
sure
they
it
said
is.
was out at the bunker.
Yeah, well, it's at their D-Day thing, which is off south of there, a mile or 2 out in the country. But that's
I didn't think we'd hear it from here, but
from here. It's 9. No, it's further than that. Maybe 12 or 13 miles. And it still sounded like thunder here. And some of my neighbors that's just a few miles south of me are like, oh, it's closer than that. And some that's just to the west of there about that far never even heard it. So,
yeah.
Like I said, we were out there and on the back 40.
Well,
and
you heard it.
it was like, that can't be thunder. There's not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah. We had a deal like that one time here when I was growing chickens and lived in the old rock house. Grandma and Grandpa's. They I just got to sleep, so it was about 11:30 midnight, and I heard that, and I'm like, what in the world? Somebody's over there in the driveway of my chicken farm lighting off fireworks or something. So I get up, pull on clothes, and drive around here. Ain't nobody here, and I'm like, well, they got to be over on the spook light. And so I drive around and go down the spook light, and I meet my dad. He lives a mile west of me, and his chicken farm was almost a mile west of him. He thought the same thing when he heard it. We didn't know nothing about what it was till 2 days later. It comes out in the Miami News Record that the Ottawa County Sheriff's Department in a drug bust had come up with 2 buckets of TNT.
Oh, wow.
And in order to get those, get rid of those, they took them to the park at the Devil's Promenade at Spring River and lit them off.
Oh.
At 11:45 at night.
Yeah. Somebody wasn't using any common sense on that one.
Common sense is just not so common.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Yeah, it's like
Joe, were you just trying to get rid of me?
Like when Tannerite got to be real popular there when it first came out, and everybody realized you could shoot it and be legal, and you'd have people from miles away calling and complaining about an explosion. It's like, yep, Daffy Duck's down shooting Tannerite. A lot of people want to say it was illegal. Nope, it's perfectly legal.
And most of the ones here, the people from Bella Vista in Arkansas was calling, and it's like, sorry.
Sucks to be you.
Yep.
No, Paul needs inside of 30 minutes and I'll be gone, right? I'm thinking
Well,
that
it's 6:30. How long are we gonna stay on there?
Well, I was thinking about go ahead and calling it so we can get wrapped up and take a shower.
Been a day. And we got to go back out there and cut more tomorrow.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. Not really.
But like I said, them young boys are coming out, and we're gonna feed them and stuff and watch them work.
Yeah, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set on the chainsaw, and which, that's not as easy as you'd think, but it's a whole lot easier sitting there keep dragging out brush.
Don't set
Well,
on.
and I go to drag that, and then it's like, you didn't cut this where I could lift it.
Wah, wah, wah.
Tina, gonna message you.
Hey, wait a minute. How's that go? Well,
I was thinking the smallest violin.
Remember when you go to sleep, dear.
You're
well, don't read about Tina in the newspaper now.
Uh-huh.
Newspapers, what's that anymore?
The Miami Moose non-news record.
So, yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and call it, guys.
What are we calling
Done. We're gonna stick a fork in it.
it? Jamie should be back with our supper.
Yeah, I was just looking at Life 360. He's getting fairly close too, so
Is he on the dirt road yet?
he ain't that close.
Oh, dang it.
So, y'all,
So you're using an app to predict when your food's going to show up home.
Our oldest daughter says, that's your stalker app. Well, sometimes you got to know where everybody's at.
It's not totally wrong.
Yep. Well, I use it because that way I know when I need to take my insulin. So, anywho, yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Paul, thanks for hanging out with us for the last hour and a half. And
Think about how confusing that would be for Anita if she has one of those on my phone to where, let's see, when I go to the hayfield, I'm driving around and it starts in a 1/4 mile circle.
mm-hmm. Sean says that means you gotta drag
Julie's
all
messaging me.
the brush. Like, no, that's what the young boys are gonna be doing. I'm gonna be running that chainsaw.
I'm going to supervise.
So,
In the famed words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice. Make sure you got your saw in the wood. Whatever.
exactly. Not on the rocks.
Yeah, no doubt.
Y'all have a good one.
Thanks
All
for
right.
joining us,
You
Paul.
too, Paul.
You bet. It's sure good to be with you. Have a good night, everybody in the chat. We'll see
Night,
you later.
everybody.
Y'all take care. Glad y'all stuck out with us. We'll catch y'all next time. Hopefully another 2 weeks. Bye-bye now.